So let's talk about something really personal, something I think we've all wrestled with. What happens when you're praying for something and all you hear back is silence? When it feels like God has delayed the answer, what is really going on? You know that feeling, right? You've prayed, you've believed, you're waiting for that breakthrough, and it feels like your prayers just aren't getting through. It's frustrating, and honestly, it can feel incredibly lonely. Well, this is the core idea we're going to unpack today. It's a total shift in perspective. What feels like a painful, frustrating delay to us might actually be a crucial, intentional period of preparation from God's point of view. But before we get into all that, let's just be real for a second. Waiting is hard. It's not fun. It tests our patience, it tests our faith, and it can be genuinely painful. So let's just acknowledge that feeling first. Scripture actually talks about this feeling of waiting all the time. This verse from Habakkuk introduces this really powerful idea of an appointed time. It suggests that there is a divine timetable at work, one that isn't late at all, but is just operating on a completely different schedule than ours. And this is where it gets so interesting, right? It's all about perspective. From our point of view, it feels like lateness, it causes frustration, and it can even feel like rejection. But from heaven's perspective, that same period of time is seen as perfectly on time, deeply purposeful, and even protective. It's the exact same block of time, just seen from two totally different altitudes. And that leads us to one of the most critical takeaways here. It is so easy to misinterpret God's silence as a final no. But what if that delay is actually a form of protection? God sees the whole picture, right? He sees the future consequences, the spiritual strength we'll need, all the things we can't see yet. A blessing that comes before you're ready for it can actually become a huge burden. That delay might just be God's grace in disguise. So, okay, if a delay is in a denial, then what is it? What's the purpose? Well, the idea is that it's an active period of formation. You're not just passively waiting for something to happen. And you know what? This isn't some new idea. Just look at the heavy hitters in the Bible. Joseph waited for years in a prison before he was ready to govern a nation. David was anointed king when he was just a boy, but waited years and years before he actually sat on the throne. And even Jesus waited 30 years before starting his public ministry. There's a clear theme here. A significant purpose is almost always preceded by a significant period of preparation. So what's being built in you during this time? It's not about just killing time. This waiting period is when God is forging your character, sharpening your discernment, building your discipline, and most importantly, deepening your dependence on Him. He's building you from the inside out. And this just nails why that preparation is so vital. We often pray for the big thing without thinking about the responsibility that comes with it. We ask for increase, but are we ready for the pressure? We ask for influence, but are we prepared for the accountability? We ask for answers, but are we really ready for the obedience that's required? God is preparing us to handle the blessing well. I just love how this verse frames it. Waiting isn't passive or weak. It's an act that requires strength and courage. Waiting, in this sense, is a spiritual workout. It's building muscles in you that easy answers and instant gratification never could. Okay, so we get it, we're being prepared, but is that all that's happening? While we're sitting in the waiting room, is God actually doing anything about the situation itself? This right here is one of the biggest lies we can believe when we're in a delay, that our situation is just stuck, frozen in time, and that God's silence means He's not doing anything. But the truth is, the exact opposite is happening. While you wait, God is actively at work behind the scenes. He's rearranging circumstances. He's removing obstacles you might not even know were there. He's positioning the right people in your path, and maybe most importantly, He's closing doors that would have led you down the wrong path. The silence is not empty. It's full of His activity. So this gives us a totally new way to define delay, doesn't it? It's not God being inactive. It is God's purposeful work, unfolding just beyond the limits of what we can see right now. And when you put it all together, the personal preparation and the behind-the-scenes work, it all leads to one incredible outcome, a faith that becomes truly unshakable. And this contrast is so powerful. Look at our side of the equation. Our urgency is usually about our feelings. We want relief from the pain. We want quick answers. We want a certain outcome now. But God's goal is so much bigger. He's after our complete restoration, our deep transformation, and a real, authentic relationship with us. And just look at what can grow in that season of waiting.
It forces us to move beyond a faith where we just ask for stuff to one that's truly relational. We start to pray more honestly. We learn to listen more carefully. We surrender more deeply. And we learn to depend on God completely, not just on getting what we want. And here's the beautiful promise in all of this. This process, this waiting, it isn't meant to drain you. It's actually designed to renew you. Waiting on the Lord becomes this incredible exchange of our weakness for His strength.
So, really, if there's one thing to hold on to from all this, let it be this. The wait is never, ever wasted time. It is a period of sacred formation where both you and your circumstances are being perfectly prepared for whatever is next. So, I'll just leave you with this to think about. If the wait isn't wasted, and if God is always at work, then the real question isn't, why is this taking so long? The real question is, what is this wait preparing me for?